Hello everyone, welcome back to Art a la Carte, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to draw a kind of a lion cub in the Disney kind of style of Lion King. So I wanted to show you a couple of the beginning sketches that I did just to kind of familiarize myself with the way they draw. So the first thing you want to do is to figure out how the a cub's anatomy is, how the bones are put together, and then once you can figure out that part, then you can begin to put in the little stylizings and quirks that they have with it. And you can have fun just kind of switching it up and adding a little bit of character to it, but practicing with it, not trying to do your final piece the first time around. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you are practicing this and it's just not seeming to turn out right the first time, know that even before I did this video, I had to practice a whole bunch to really be able to understand what really sets this style apart from just drawing like a regular lion cub. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my shapes for my lion, and I'm going to start off with just a basic circle shape here for the lion's head. After I have my circle shape for my head, I'm going to place in the circle shape for my chest, which I'm going to overlap those a little bit because it doesn't have a super long neck. Not a dinosaur. And again, I'm drawing just really loosely and lightly. I'm using a really light pencil. A lot of you guys have asked me what pencils I use. For doing this initial sketch, I'm using just a regular B pencil because it's a nice lead that's light but easy to erase as well. So I have my head, my chest. I'm going to put in an overlap circle for his belly and then a circle for his rump. And you'll notice I'm not making them straight across. I'm almost kind of giving just a little bit of an arch, as you can kind of see. Not super back. I don't want to make him like a sway back lion cub, but a nice little arch to it. And his happy little pose, and a nice little belly under here. So once I have this, my head, my chest, my belly, and my rump, now I'm going to go ahead and put his legs in, and I'm just going to put them in as stick figures. So I'm going to start off with from the shoulder here, come back to his back of his elbow, and straight down. And I'm not going to give him super long legs because he is a baby, so if you give him a little bit shorter legs in proportion to his body, it makes him look a little bit more childlike. And I'm going to bring this paw on this side over, and instead of having it come down maybe like this, I'm going to have it come out like maybe he's walking or taking a step a little bit. And again, just drawing really loosely and just putting in these guidelines so that I can change things. If I don't like how it looks, it's easier to change. Now for the back leg, I'm going to come down from the hip down to his knees and just really soft curve. He doesn't have a really definition from this bone to this bone, it's just really a soft bend. And then to the back of his leg and then down to his paw. And same thing with this leg over here. So now you kind of see he's kind of built up a little bit. Now's the time to kind of fix anything if you don't like it, to change if you want to change a leg around a little bit. This is the part to do it. If it's the way you like it, then we're going to go ahead and thicken these lines up. So what I'm going to do here with this front leg is I'm going to bring the back side of his leg and bring that down. And I'm going to bring the front of his shoulder in. So I'm following this, kind of pretending this is like the bone, and I'm adding the muscle and skin and fur around it. And it's going to start up a little bit thicker at the top, and as it tapers down his leg, it's going to get just a little bit thinner. I mean, I don't want it to get like pencil thin, but just a little bit thinner. And as it gets down just almost towards the bottom, it's going to come in kind of for the ankle, bend of the paw, and then he's got these really great toes, and I've got about 4 toes, and they're just kind of these little mountainous little mounds here. You don't have to necessarily see all 4 of them because they kind of wrap around and overlap, so kind of just judge to see what you would see and what you wouldn't see. But they really come up in the Disney style. Get these really good paw toes. Okay, and then he's got his chest coming in here, and now for his other shoulder here coming out, and I'll build this leg in. You might see just a little bit of the back of the elbow coming in. Bend down for the paw. Have this really nice little kind of a very slight S curve as it goes in, because his foot isn't touching the ground, so it's not pushing his little paws, little toes up like it does in this one. So his little toes are just kind of very softly extended. But you really want the bottom of his paw to be kind of flat, so he has his little kind of thumb toe right there. And just like so. And you can even put a little bit of toes in there if you want. There we go. So now let's go ahead and go with those back legs. So I'm going to wrap around the rump here, and it's just going to be a really soft curve that kind of comes down to the back of his leg and then just goes a nice sharp angle. Boom. And then the front of his leg just kind of follows us a little bit thicker here, and it thins out a little bit as it comes down, but not too much. And again, because this paw is resting on the ground, it's going to be flat, but his little toes are just going to really kind of stick up. Just like so. And then he's got just a really cute belly because he's a little, he's just a cub, so he's got a nice fat belly. And then we'll bring down his other leg, which you might just see just a little bit of this before it cuts down. And again, little toes poking up. Well, that foot turned out just a little bit, so they're overlapped back behind there. So there's his body part, his main body, and just define out his top shoulders here for a shoulder blade. His backbone, kind of going right up into his little round little hips. And then I'm going to put in his tail, and what I'm first do is just kind of design what I want his tail to do with just a single line. And I just put that in really softly, and then I'm going to thicken that out. And it's going to be a little bit thicker at the base, and as it works its way out, it's going to just slightly thin out, just ever so. You don't want it to get really thin, but just a little bit thinner at the tip than it is at the base of the tail. And then when you get to the end of the tail, it's this really nice little sweet kind of a teardrop shape with a tuft of fur at the top. And once you get that teardrop shape in there, then you kind of go back and you can make it kind of little jaggy fur lines in there. Alright, so his body is pretty much sketched out the way I want it. I'll put a little bit more detail into it in a minute, but let's look at his face. So right now I have his face just designed out as a circle, but I want to turn that into a little bit of a triangle, like an upside down rounded triangle. So I'm going to round that top off just a little bit and then really bring this down. So I'm really going to bring this down, kind of overlap it over my shoulders. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in from here till about maybe not quite halfway, maybe just a little bit below that. Kind of draw in kind of a rounded oval, rounded rectangle shape to block in where his muzzle is going to be. Now let's go and work on his nose. His nose is this very flattened out heart shape. Like if he had a heart and sat on it, that would be kind of his nose shape. And then just really small little nostril holes on either side. Okay, and then right down the center is his lip line. And then cat mouth, which if he's nervous, his cat mouth will kind of just come down. If he's happy, which I'm going to make him happy, it's going to come up around the sides. And then we're going to decide if we want his mouth open or if we want it closed. I'm going to try it open here. I'm going to put in just a couple of teeth right there to see his little top little teeth, and just give him a little bit of an open mouth. So here's the bottom lip, curving in underneath there, and then I'm just going to give him his jaw, which is going to be kind of a little bit fluffy at the bottom there. Give him a happy mouth. Alright, so I'm going to work on detail on that in just a little bit, but I want to build in the rest of his face now. So he has this nose bridge that kind of comes up probably about the halfway mark of your circle, and that's where his kind of how his nose builds in. And then we're going to put in his eyes here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in two really large circle shapes. These are not actually his eyes. These are his kind of his eye patches. And these are what really help to express emotion, because really lions don't have, eyebrows like we do, but they use these eye patches to kind of represent the eye ridges and the tops of them to be the eyebrows. So I'm going to draw up like this. And then they're kind of like a rounded triangle, so then they come down, and then they have just a rounded underside to them. And you want to make them bigger, obviously, than his eyes, because his eyes are going to sit right inside there. Now his eyes are the exact same shape almost, but they're gonna come in, and so you're gonna go to this corners here and you're gonna make a little mark coming up. This is little tear ducts. And then the bottom part of his eye is not as rounded, obviously, as the top part, just a little bit rounded. And then it's gonna come up and in. So very similar to the eye patch shape as his actual eyes. So a little bit flat, up, and wrapping. All right, and then you can go ahead and put his eyes in. And what I do for some really good kind of Disney eyes is I draw the main part of the eye, the iris, first. Then I draw my shine line, and then I draw in my pupil, and I can shade that in. And that gives me a really kind of nice, good cartoon eye. So iris, shine, pupil. All right, now to give him his extra expression at the top, you're going to just thicken in that lash line at the top. And then you're also going to thicken in this line here. These lines here are your eyebrow lines. So that's just a little bit thicker. And as it reaches the top, it's thicker, and as it comes down the sides, it tapers off just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to work on finishing his head there. So on the sides here, they're just going to come kind of down, and this is where the widest part of his head is, where his jaw is, and so there might be just a little bit of kind of some fur lines there, and then tapers off to underneath his jaw, just like that. And then his ears. And his ears, if you want him to be sad or scared, you're going to put his ears kind of flattening down a little bit and draw them in. That'll make him a little bit nervous. If he's happy, they're going to be pulled up higher. So we're going to have him be happy. So this is kind of a flat line, and then kind of a rounded box shape. So flat, and then this part is rounded. And then there's going to have a fold that the ear folds in, so you're going to have this fold coming down. And then the inside of the ear is just kind of this nice little kind of a jaggy fur line around inside. And then it's totally optional on your Lion Cub if you want to give him some little tuft of fur up at the top there, but you can do that. And there we go, we have our lion's head. We have our lion pretty much sketched in. All I need to do right now is to go back in with an eraser, erase the lines I don't need, and kind of clean up the rest of these lines a little bit, and then I'll be back with some closing comments. So there we go, a finished piece with lots of fun coloring, and again, you can continue adding details. I did kind of a fun patterny background. You could put a realistic background, you could add more Lion Cubs. Got lots of fun things that you can do with this. So just have fun trying this out on your own, and if you do, make sure to post that on my Facebook wall so I can take a peek at it, or on Instagram, and both of those are linked in the description box below. So now I have a question for you guys, because I really want to make these videos the way you want to see them, so you guys get to tell me what you prefer by commenting below. A lot of times while I'm doing these videos, as I'm drawing it, I will skip over the parts that I'm not teaching. If I'm not focusing on teaching you how to color, then I don't really show that part. I'm trying to keep the videos shorter so you're not spending so much time having to watch the video, that you can get the part that I'm trying to teach you and then get on to drawing your own. And so I'll skip over those. But do you want me to skip over those parts? Or would you rather see kind of a time lapse of how they look, how I progress through coloring it, even if I'm not teaching that part in that tutorial? Do you want to see that process? So would you rather see the video go from this drawing sketch to this finished piece, or would you like to see it go from this drawing sketch to, whoa, really fast, super, I'm not really that fast in real life, erasing, inking in, coloring, designing, shading, all that, to boom, this now? So let me know in the comment section below what you'd rather see. If you want me to skip over the parts that I'm not really teaching, or if you want to see those parts in time lapse, just to kind of pick up some ideas. Alright, I'm done rambling, so thank you guys so much for watching this video with me, and until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye!